What's up, makeup minions? I'm Kim Witte from WitteArtistry, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I would really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button below to become part of my family. I am doing another Mortal Kombat 11 character. This one is Frost. I thought it would be cool to do a half and half. Let's get started. If you like me and you like what I do here, it would be awesome if you became a sponsor on my Patreon page. Let's get this makeup started. I wanted to do a half and half because I thought it would be kind of cool and startling if there's like a different hairstyle and, you know, a suit painted on only half of me and then the other side's like just me. So I decided it would be really fun to do Frost because she has a super cool suit and her hair is blue. So I'm using a Ben Nye eyebrow pencil just to draw in the design of the suit because it is a little complicated and you definitely want to map out those shapes. Then with Mayron body paint, I'm going to be painting all of the shapes that correspond to her makeup or to her suit, this color of blue. I strongly suggest you follow a reference image the entire time so you make sure you get the right colors in the right spots. So now I'm just using a lighter blue to do the collar and some other little bits and pieces. She is an android, so it does go all the way up her neck. Then I'm using a black by Mayron, same brand, same kind of paint, just to fill in a specific spot, and then fill in the rest of the shapes with the correct blue. Like I said, literally just follow a reference image to know what spot to paint what color. Then with gold, I am using a metallic paint. I am filling in very selective parts of her suit. She has like all these accent pieces that are really shiny, so I'm just laying down the gold base. Later, I'll be adding all the nice little highlights and shadows and stuff. But I painted her chest piece thing, and I painted it completely incorrectly the first time, so I ended up having to like wipe that off. So I'm not gonna show much of the detail until I do it the second time in the video, because it'd be silly to show you something I ended up wiping off. All right, adding another layer of the blue body paint, I am taking a dark blue and I'm going to start outlining the structures of the suit. Basically, when you're painting any kind of clothing, especially since her stuff is shiny and metallic, I lay down the color. I usually paint 2 to 3 layers depending on how fussy the paint is being. Dark blue and black and white tend to be ones that streak or show the skin through them. So I just paint like 3 layers of it, and then after that you will be using a lighter version of the color just to add some stippling like I'm doing here. I'm using a darker color along the edges just to sort of add some shadow and make it look a little like varnished, like it's been used. So I'm just doing that on each of the corresponding colors in a slightly darker version of the color. Then with an even darker version of the color, you're going to outline each of the panels. This is going to create like a distinct separation from each of the pieces. So, you know, it looks like it's going down into like a valley because the pieces are 3-dimensional. Then I'm using that sponge again just to add some more texture, this time with some highlight colors. Then with black, I'm going to be creating a separated part in the shoulder. And then adding some white to it and then making some highlights. This thing is going to be all crazy textured, but it has 2 separate pieces. So I'm just making sure I have it separated with the black, and then I'm adding just white. This is using Cream Makeup by Mayron. I love this stuff. But you just take a sponge and you gently tap it on any piece that you want to be highlighted and have a softer, smoother texture. Okay, now with a dark blue, you're going to outline all of these panel pieces I was talking about. And then in the center part, I'm creating some texture. I'm creating vertical lines and diagonal lines depending on, you know, whatever the pattern is on her actual suit, and then just smudging it out lightly. Now I'm using white, or I guess it's kind of more like light gray, on this specific part of the shoulder that has almost like a football jersey like texture. And then adding some diagonal lines as well. To be honest, the techniques to create this makeup are really simple. The only thing that was challenging is keeping the correct color in the right area and just meticulously following that reference image. So now I'm doing her cool little chest plate thing correctly this time, which it sort of looks like an Irish hope knot or just like a Celtic knot. So I painted blue in the specific areas, and then I did sort of like horseshoe shapes in gold, and I'm going to be highlighting those horseshoe shapes, and I'm highlighting the blue sections and making sure that there is a bit of light blue next to the gold, and then darker portions of blue in the center. And now I'm going back to my arms because I like to jump around when I paint, because usually when I paint it's sort of just like a back and forth process. I lay down the shapes and the colors, and then once that's done, then I usually add the mid-tone and then the darks and then the highlights, and then just kind of hop around until it all looks good. So now I'm adding the highlights to the suit. This is just with white, and I'm going over very selective areas. When you apply a highlight, it's sort of like super stark, but then you gotta blend it out so it doesn't look like fake. Onto the face. She has this like really cool a whole mask, but I'm doing a half mask. So I am just painting in the light blue and making sure I keep my lines really straight because this is metallic. Adding those cool little metal teeth and then metal bars that go all the way up, sort of like a jaw. Then I'm filling in the areas with black around those bars to create the cool dark evil shadows that she has going on. Be really careful when you're doing this part so you don't accidentally paint over spots that you don't want black, because black is really hard to get off. Then with that black, I'm going to be very carefully outlining some spots on the suit and then highlighting the mask. This, I'm just using a really light blue and some white and blending it out on the topmost edges of all of the pieces. Then with black, I am outlining some more spots on the suit, and with dark blue, I am outlining the chest plate thing. Add in some more texture to all of the panels, and then at the very end, I'll be adding stark highlights to all of the metallic sections on the suit like you see me doing now. Because these parts are supposed to be really crazy shiny, because, you know, it's the metal, it's a shiny surface. Outlining my little gold thing on my arm in black, and doing the same for all my arm shapes. Be really careful with this part so you don't mess it up. Back to the little gold thing in the center chest, I am using a brown just to further outline the little medallion. Now I thought it would be really cool if my hair was blue, so I pulled it back, painted it blue, and then I wanted to split it down the middle with my actual hair. So I'd have her short hair on one side and then my actual hair on the other side. I popped in one contact from Pinky Paradise. This totally completed the look. I wanted to make sure that my skin looked super healthy, and so I added some concealer below my eyes, just blended it out with a beauty brush, or a beauty blender, a beauty blender sponge, and then added foundation onto my face just to even everything else out. And Frost does have eyebrows that are slightly orange and darker than mine, so I wanted to make sure I added that as well. I'm powdering the foundation just to make sure it stays and looks super nice. And then I am adding a little bit of brown eyeshadow just to create some depth. She doesn't wear much makeup in the game, but I just wanted my eyes to pop more, so that's what I just decided to do. Blend it all out. And now I'm adding that little bit of dark orange brown to my one eyebrow on the Frost side. And then complete the whole look with some Kush mascara to make those eyelashes pop. And you're all done. This was really fun and pretty easy. Please let me know if you guys want to see any more Mortal Kombat looks, and keep posting your Mortal Kombat looks on Mkkollective. I love seeing them all. I love you guys so much, and I can't wait to do more. Thanks for sticking to the end, guys. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed doing a half and half look. Not only did it save me time, but I think it adds like a whole new level of interest to the composition, especially with like the long hair on one side, the short hair on the other. If you guys have any more suggestions of like which half and halves I should do, please comment below. Frost was a lot of fun to do because it's just blue, and light blue and green are my favorite colors, so it was nice. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already to become part of the WitteArtistry family, and a huge, wonderful thank you, shout out to my awesome Patreon producers. Wah, 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 wah. Without you guys, I couldn't create makeups like this, so thank you so much for being so kind to fund what I do. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video.